good to go. Listen, short week coming off a Monday night, so that's always a challenge. And that's what we're in the middle of. And with that, I'll just open it up.
Let's go first to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Steve. One of the things we hear a lot from the Patriots is just they do something different every week, right? That you've never seen before. I'm wondering, like, how much do you consider your defense sort of a game plan, a week-to-week unit, and how much do you try and stay true to, certain core beliefs?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. I think you have to do that in this league. Got to keep people on their toes. Listen, Josh McDaniels is a great coach. I work with him. I had him in St. Louis, so I know how sharp he is. I know that he's looking for a weakness. They're going to attack weaknesses, and they're really good. You bring up a really good point. That's what the Patriots have been doing for years. They'll change. You may be seeing things. We fully expect to see things in the first quarter that we may not have seen, and we got to adjust in the game. I mean, I think that Matt House and Brendan Daly up front certainly do a great job of that. They help me out tremendously during the game, adjusting. So I'll be relying on them against this opponent.
Go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Steve, I wanted to ask you about your safety play. You mentioned in training camp that you need safeties to be obviously multiple. You used 4 last week in Tedrick, Dan, Juan, and Tyron. You guys haven't given up many big plays in the air. How much of that is attributed to your safeties, and just how much does that help the overall unit based on those 4 guys being available?
Well, as you say that, Nate, I'm going to knock on wood. But because look, at explosive plays are the one thing that really, really hurts you in this league. It's hard enough to defend somebody when you make them drive and make them earn it, but you give up the big plays. Our guys have done a nice job. I think you got to throw the corners in that too. I mean, you put the secondary in as a whole when you start talking about denying explosive plays. And to take it one step further, our up front guys have done a really good job even on some play actions, first and second down, when teams wanted to take a shot, have made the quarterback either tuck it or throw it really quick and check it down. So it's kind of all packaged together. We're fortunate we're in a couple of games here. We haven't given them up, but that's going to be a focus every week. The safeties have been solid, though.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Steve. You guys are going to be tested, obviously, at the cornerback position without L'Jarius, but you guys have been tested all year, really, with your depth there. Can you kind of just assess where you are as a group at the cornerback spot?
Yeah, well, listen, a lot of credit to Sam and Dave Merritt, who work with all those guys. We felt going in, we talked about this as a staff with the whole COVID situation, that we had to have guys always ready to go. And then, we didn't know what was going to happen with what we're dealing with in the world. So the guys, the coaches, have taken that to heart. They've prepared all these guys, corners, safeties, linebackers, D-line, like they could have to step up and play on a Friday. And listen, we have been bumped and bruised out there at the corner. Certainly losing Breezy kind of hurt right from the beginning. But listen, Rashad Fenton has done a great job. LJ Snead was playing really good football. I feel really terrible for him and deal with that injury, but it's part of the league. And hopefully we can get CW back. I know he's going to deal with that hand a little bit, but they've got to step up. Listen, our corners are really needed in the package that we play. And fortunately for us, our D-line has done a decent enough job that it's made it a little bit easier for the corners on the outside.
Go next to Herbie. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. To kind of piggyback off of the defensive backs, the Patriots seem to, percentage-wise, are running more out of 11 personnel this year than they did last year. Obviously, with the safety play and the defensive backs, how important is it going to be for them this week, especially knowing you do have mobile Cam Newton back there? Yeah, well, listen, you throw a quarterback in there that can run it and is willing to run it, like they certainly are with him back there. It's always going to put a stress on the defense. It's going to, if you add another player to just stop the run, he's a good enough quarterback to throw it out there. Josh is smart enough to recognize that. And they got talent on the outside with a couple of receivers that can hurt you. So we're going to have to play that game within the game. We're going to have to mix it up. Hopefully we can get in a situation where, you want to get it one-dimensional, right? That's what every defense tries to do. So be successful on first down, try to do the same on second down and get them in a situation where they have to throw it. Hopefully when we get in those situations, we can win them.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Steve. Chris Jones knocked the ball away from Lamar Jackson a couple of times the other night. Was that just a case of him taking advantage of some opportunities that were in front of him there, or was that maybe a point of emphasis with him to maybe not just work at getting the ball away from the quarterback?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We talked all last week about how do you tackle this guy? We watched a film of ourselves trying to tackle him low, and he was getting away from that. And, he can run away from you if you tackle him high. We did talk about some of the things you just mentioned. I think specifically to Chris's plays. I mean, I think Chris just flat out used his ability to beat a man one-on-one and found his way to number 8 and got his long arms out there and got it knocked down, which was great for us. Now, the next quarterback we play is alike in some ways and different in others. I mean, he's a big, strong guy that I'm not so sure you can try to tackle high he gets away from everything. You watch him tuck the ball down and run, he becomes a fullback and not afraid to do that. We emphasized last week getting to the quarterback and trying to get the ball off him, and we'll try to do the same this week if we can.
Got time for a couple more guys. We'll go Pete Sweeney and then Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Pete.
Coach, looking at your schedule, it's kind of unique in the sense that you guys knocked out a lot of these mobile quarterbacks at the beginning, and you just mentioned how Cam is a little bit different, but how much does it help? And I know that Herbert came in, but how much does it help that you've been dealing with this dual threat ability for the beginning of the season going into this game?
That's a great point. If you flipped it around and said that we played, 3 drop back quarterbacks, then one of these guys and 2 more drop, that would be a challenge because it's something different. I think it's helped us. I think our guys are a little bit more comfortable in facing these kind of guys because we've seen some really good ones. And you try to simulate that in practice. I thought Jordan did a great job last week helping our guys with that. Yeah, maybe there is something to it. I hope that if that is the case, we play our best football against the 4th one, but we'll see. We'll see.
Let's go last to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Coach, we're going to get to talk to Hitch in a little bit here. He had a really nice game last week. What have you seen from him as he's progressed through the year as a leader for you guys in that linebacking core?
Yeah, the word you just said is the one that sticks out, a leader. He's a silent leader. I think the guys gravitate to Hitch. When Hitch, one of the great indicators of a leader, and I think in this profession is when a player begins to speak or talk, you can recognize that the other guys are listening. He has that. And he doesn't say much and he doesn't have to, but they trust the rest of the guys, the other 10 trust that he's going to get them in the right call. I think that's huge going forward because it allows all the guys to play real confident. I agree with you. He had a good game last week. I think he took it upon himself. We struggled in the Chargers game. I mean, quite frankly, as a defense, and all of us felt responsible. But I think Hitch being the leader in the middle of that took it upon himself to get the rest of the guys ready, and we had a good week of practice and played pretty good in the game.
Coach, we appreciate the time today. Thanks for joining us.
Got it. Thank you.